The Gee Spot. I'd hit that.
Welcome to the Gee Spot podcast. My name's Rachel Bradshaw and I'm a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
And I'm Kaz Page and I'm a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu. And we're back again.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Do you know when I say we're off to a great start today, but that's actually really hard for me to get out, that little intro.
Do you know that I went down to, what is it? That's all, folks. It's from the 80s cartoons, Warner Brothers.
Yes.
That's all, folks.
Bugs Bunny.
Sorry, Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Why is it hard for you to say?
Because it's a bit of a tongue twister. I'm a black belt. I'm a blah. It's
Blah,
like
blah,
a blah,
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 blah.
blah.
Yeah.
How does black belt, what do you say when you get your next level?
First degree black belt.
That's cleaner. That'll be easier. Hurry up and get that.
I can't hurry it up. It's purely time-based.
How far away are you from that?
That'll be next December.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, how was
Yes.
your week? Retro.
How was my week? You tell me. How was my week? Was it good?
Hey, you can't ask me that. What did you do on the weekend?
Not a lot. I came down crook again. I'm
Oh,
so
the little
over
white
it.
balls.
Oh no, let's not talk about that on air.
You people take that wherever you want. I got it.
Oh, I'm having a stitch.
Little white balls. Okay.
Oh, well, now I have to talk about it. Oh my God. I found out I have tonsil stones, which is not a very glamorous thing. You're making me cry now. But it's been causing, actually cry.
Now you're fogging up. That was the best. I couldn't have done that better if I tried.
Well, I mean, if I left it at little white balls, everyone would just think, what on earth for the rest of time. So,
I know.
yeah, so I found out I have tonsil stones,
Okay.
which has been the reason of my reoccurring throat infections and respiratory infections that I've probably had all year. So, anyway, we're dealing with that. Let's move on.
And rocket fuel's helping, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, I've been taking a lot of rocket fuel, and I think it's actually helping to clear
Lift
out
and move,
everything. So
thanks, Savvy Touch.
Thanks, Savvy Touch. Nice little segue there. Went and saw Pearl Jam this week.
So many people I know have gone and seen that. Was it awesome?
It was just very cool.
Yeah.
And we got really good. We were standing in the Golden Circle, which is like the front standing area. At the very back of that, because I could see better because I'm short. My sons and my husband are much taller, so they can stand anywhere in the crowd and get a good view. But for me to get a good view, I found over time stepping back a little out of the crowd gives me a better shot through the crowd.
Different angle.
Yeah.
And Saturday night.
Oh, and Saturday night was amazing.
Yep,
So
pretty good.
Saturday night we went to Subversion, which is Australia's #1 jiu-jitsu fight night.
Mm-hmm.
And Grant is one of the commentators on there. So if you were at home watching that on Flow Grappling, you would have heard him. So put those little connections together. And one of our students, Jaden, had a match.
Nailed it.
He is 6'7" of pure athleticism and
Snow White and the Three Dwarfs.
and he's 115 kilos of just pure muscle. And he had a match with someone who was probably the closest in physical attributes to him that he's ever had. So it was going to be a really good match, and it was all over and done within a minute and a half. Jaden got a beautiful knee bar, and it was just glorious.
Nailed
so,
it.
Yeah, we might get him on the podcast at some point because he's an incredible athlete in his own right, and he can talk, about sort of competition mindset and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so shout out Jaden. Mama Bear said you had to come do the podcast.
Yeah. All right, there we go. How was your week?
My week was good. So I was at Subversion, which was awesome. And I said to Jaden they needed to put him on last because it was probably the best fight for the night for me. And it came sort of early. It's like,
He puts on a good show.
He does, and the crowd, right? When you're there with your home crowd and there's a lot of people, you know, getting up in the excitement of it and everything too.
And Iconic does come with support.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So it was a really good, it probably the least amount of support this time is what we usually do. And there was no other reason other than it just clashed with a few other things that some of our members were doing.
A lot going on at the moment too, end of year
Christmas
formals
time and all
stuff,
that sort of stuff. So, so how else was your week?
It was good. So I've started back in the gym. So our gym downstairs with Willow, so our 14-year-old daughter.
Yep.
And her and I are getting up at 6. Well, I'm getting up at 6 and getting her up at about 20 past 6. Actually, she's been really good. And it's been amazing because Willow's a bit like Matt in the regards that if she's in, she's all in, and she becomes a little bit obsessive about it.
Yep.
And so we were starting to see her, because we homeschool our kids, right? And so we were starting to see her pop over to the gym sometimes 2, sometimes 3 times a day. And it's like, we need to roll this back a little bit, kid. And I'm at the point now in my rehab where I can start doing a little bit more. So I just made a deal with her. If I got her up in the morning, I would commit to 3 to 4 sessions a week with her.
Yep.
Matt, because he's got all the PT credentials and everything behind him, so he's written her a program. And so we started this week. We started this week, and it's been phenomenal. It's just been lovely. We've done a full week. So since we recorded last week, we've done a full week of getting up. There's been no complaints. She's in. She's doing her stuff. I'm on the treadie. I'm doing some exercises and stuff and starting to lift it up. And it just wakes you up, I think. It just gets you in a better mindset for the day.
Yep,
so that was awesome. It was a pretty cruisy weekend. We had Willow and Matt went to cadets, because Willow also does Army cadets. And so they had their end of year dining in night with Matt as a veteran. He went with her, and she took out some awards for different things that they do. So the weekend was amazing, and it was just...
Everyone's on a high.
Yeah, it really is. It feels like because we went through so much for the first 3 quarters of this year, it just feels like we've kind of hit the curve, and we're going to end on a high.
Yeah,
and I'm really happy. Yeah, it's exciting. It's light.
And of course then the sun's shining and the weather's warming up too.
Oh man, so 40-degree heat, right? Like
all those beautiful, I love 40-degree heat. So
so do I in aircon.
Nice. All right, well, what's today's topic about?
So I started having a look around and listening to a few different people talk over the past few weeks and stuff. You know, they're gearing up for holidays here and there and all the rest of it. And I started getting curious because I've mentioned a bunch of times here and on the Love Conquers podcast that because jiu-jitsu has been such a therapy type process for Matt and his rehabilitation and everything, that we book our holidays around where we can train. And so, you know, there was a period there in 2019, 2016 where we even went on a 6-month holiday, and every location. So it took me 3 years to build up this holiday because every location had to have a jiu-jitsu school that we would go and stay. So we were booking accommodation around, you know, and you're looking at reputations, right? You're looking at online presence, and you're looking at reviews of the gyms and everything like that. You don't want to go and land in Dodgy Brothers halfway around the world. So it took a long time to plan all this out. And then I started thinking, am I the only freak that does this? Like, do you plan holidays around jiu-jitsu, or do you take your gi with you on holidays? You do that sort of thing? And, you know, we've spent a lot of time up at Foster, and we were really fortunate that Mecca Gym started up there, and we got to meet those guys. And then you guys came up with us, and, you know, you're going away for 4 days and you take your gis with you.
Yep.
Is that normal?
Yep.
So I just thought I'd throw it out there and see, you know, holiday... Do you plan your holidays including jiu-jitsu, or do you just take off and go on holidays and come back and, you know, get back into the swing of it? If it's the latter, do you struggle getting, and not, you probably won't because you've been doing it for so long, but I just wonder if people do struggle and therefore maybe they should find a gym to go holiday at.
Right.
And then when I started talking to you about this, you're like, yes, and let's talk about gym hopping.
A little bit. We can talk a little bit about that at the end.
Yeah. So there's really the holiday component. I'm curious as to whether or not we are just an exception to the norm where people just go, okay, we talked last week about jiu-jitsu being a hobby and it's something that you go to. Do you plan your holidays around jiu-jitsu?
So I think there's a very good distinction here is that when you planned your holiday, you looked for jiu-jitsu academies and then went, okay, let's go holiday there. Is that how it happened?
Yeah, by and large. I mean, especially across America, we looked at locations, big locations that we wanted to go to. So whether it was Dallas or it was New Orleans or Orlando, different, as we drove across.
So it was kind of like, okay, that's the general area, but we're going to stay somewhere near a good jiu-jitsu academy that we find. Okay.
So we did Airbnb and we were 5 minutes from every location we trained at.
I think that's probably the unique.
That's the left of centre speed.
That's probably the slightly left of centre, maybe. I won't say it. But no, that's probably unique to you. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people go on holidays going, oh, I'm going to be in the Central Coast. Because let's face it, Central Coast is a holiday destination. Yep. Where is there that I might train if I get some time?
Right, okay.
I think that's probably the more mindset that I hear more of.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they're like, okay, well, we'll take a gi, and if we get time, we may go visit this gym or that gym or whatever.
So that's a really good point. Okay, so you're a gym owner in a holiday destination.
Yes.
Do you get a lot of drop-ins?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so and people will do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we get heaps of visitors. Okay. Especially over, so Christmas and New Year's, we don't shut down.
Yeah.
We shut down classes, but we replace with open mats every day.
Yep.
And what we do is we put that out there on our socials.
Yep.
And we find that a lot of people who come up from Sydney on holidays will reach out to us and go, oh, I see you've got open mats during this period. Do you mind if I come along for a couple?
Are you finding they come with gis and no gis, or is it more leaning towards no gis because they're on holidays and gis are bulky?
I think they usually have both.
Okay.
And I would always recommend to my students, if you go on holidays, take a gi, take no gi, or take your no gi stuff if you're really light on packing, because you should be able to either borrow a gi at an academy or rent a gi. Not all academies will just give you a gi to train in. I do. I don't charge for borrowing a gi for the session, but at least most academies will either rent you a gi like $5-10 or something, or just loan you one.
Because
take your belt.
Absolutely.
Don't forget your belt.
So when we were traveling, because there's 5 of us in the family, so we each had luggage.
Yes.
But we were allowed 2 pieces per person.
Yep.
And so we each had a piece, and then we brought another suitcase that was literally just the jiu-jitsu suitcase.
Yep.
So it only ever came out of the car or wherever we were if we knew we were in a location where it had been pegged for training.
Yeah.
And we would look at all these different schools that we trained at, and because we were away for so long, we would try and stay in destinations for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
And we would go and train with this one school for 2 or 3 weeks. So we were immersing ourselves in their culture and their community and their people.
Yep.
I've got friends all over the world because of that.
Oh, yeah. I imagine
it's amazing.
So. Yeah, it's a really good way to connect and to meet new people and to improve your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits. I'd love to go through the list of benefits that I think
let's do it.
That it will give you. So number one thing and we do the same. So we, in fact, probably go a little more left to center in the fact that we've got gyms that we've gone to. Originally, we've gone to the place for our holiday, looked up what local gym is there and gone to that gym and then fell in love with the people and the academy. And now there's one up in Burleigh Heads. It was 2 up in Burleigh Heads we visit is Full Metal. Shout out to Jugs and those guys there. They're amazing. And we'll go to Combat and shout out to those guys. And they're very different style of gym and very different in their culture and stuff like that. But we will always go and visit those gyms. Now, we used to go to Burleigh and then go, oh, well, we'll see what gym's available. That's how we kind of stumbled across it. Now we go to Burleigh because we know that those gyms are there and we want to go visit our friends, right? So we're like, we'll go on holidays and we'll also visit our friends and go and train while we're there. So
we've got absolute it was the same at Foster because we got to a point with the guys at Mecca that we would always take our gi up to Foster then because we knew we were going to go and hang out with the guys and have some good times and some good rolls.
Yeah.
But the same in America. There are destinations in America where we will just go and land, not because we want to go and see that town again or anything like that. It's just because the people are so cool and we're so close with them now that we'll go there and just hang out for a week or whatever when we're over there. So it's good fun.
So good.
So do you reckon, like, you're planning a couple of holidays next year?
Yep.
You're taking your gi, obviously.
Obviously. Well, we're wanting to go to America for our 20-year anniversary, our 20-year wedding anniversary.
So we better start shouting out. Where are you going, and do you know where you're going in America?
Yeah, we're going to go to LA, California. LA, we'll go up the coast a little bit and down the coast a little bit, and probably not go much further than that. We've got about 2 to 3 weeks we can play with.
Yep.
So we don't want to stretch ourselves really thin and go all over America one day at a time. We want to kind of go to an area that Grant knows well because he's travelled there a few times. I've never been. And go to he's already got, well, I can't even say that it's different to you because he wants to take me to places because of jiu-jitsu academies that he's found. I want a holiday. I'm like, leave me on the beach with some cocktails for a week. I'll be good. He wants to go and take me to these amazing places that he's seen, as a tourist, but as well as the jiu-jitsu academies.
Yeah.
So,
And it is worth it. Like, I think, we did it because 6 months off the mats for Matt was never going to be okay.
Yes.
And so it was really important to make sure that while we were travelling and doing all this, that he still got to have that regular component of training.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at that point when I was gearing up the holiday and doing it all in my little OCD process, I didn't know the benefits that I was going to get out of it. So my whole focus around structuring this was all centric to I need to keep him on the mats. He needs to keep on the mats. Even though the world will change because we're traveling and we're not stuck in the same routine and everything like that, there is still the component of the TBI. So we needed to make sure that there was some elements of routine still kept in place, and training was one of those parts of the routine. But also for our kids too, like jiu-jitsu is a really big part of our children's world as well, and they were, prior to this trip, they were training 4 times a week on the mats as well, and I think taking that out of their equation would have allowed for them to lose focus on it and maybe lose some momentum on it as well.
Yep.
The excitement of saying, here is something you love, we're going to pick you up and put you in a different place, and you get to just walk in and meet all these new kids, and, they've also made friends around different parts of the world as well because of this.
Yep.
So I whilst I didn't do it for me as such, I did it for my family, I got so much out of it too.
Well, you got to make lifelong friends.
I did, yeah. And I got to see my kids' excitement of walking into a new gym and, it's like when you walk in and, you're a person that comes from a different country, we speak the same language. Sorry, I'm putting that down right now. I get into so much trouble for hitting the microphone. But we have a different accent.
Yep.
And Aussie accents over in America, like, we stand out like dog's balls, really.
Yes.
So it's like, wow, where are you from? And so the kids were like, they were like toys walking into these places because everybody wanted to play with them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, and that was exciting for little kids to see. So I think there are a lot of benefits to it. What else have you got?
Well, I've got the one most the standout for me. Oh, words are not my friend today. Sorry, everyone. It's really a tough gig when you're a podcaster. Is exposure to different styles.
Yeah.
Right? So you train at an academy all the time, and that's your home base, and you learn particular things that your coach wants to teach you and what they're really good at. And if you've got a really good coach, they'll teach you even things that maybe they don't use all the time and they're not really great at, because that's, no good coach wants to create clones of themselves. They want to allow you to reach your full potential in your certain style that you like, right?
Yeah.
So a good coach should be teaching you all things across the board, even if it's not their particular A game or their go-to moves. But going to different academies, you'll get exposed to different kind of styles. And one might be a more sporty style, and one might be a more, De La Hevery, using lapels and, all of that kind of stuff. One might be more self-defense focused and get on top, stay on top and grind them into the mat. And then one might be more playful, and one might be more like, just kill or be killed, Whatever the situation is, you're going to get exposed to a lot more jiu-jitsu from all different kinds of angles that is going to only improve what you do. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits, I think.
Do you know as well too what I found? When we travelled to these locations, we're tourists, right? And we really like getting off the tourist path. We like doing more local, like why do you live here? Why do you want, what do you want, what do you guys do when you're here? Where's the best place to shop? Where's the best things to go,
Where do you go out for dinner?
Where do you go out for dinner and all the rest of it? You get that insight. When you go and you're visiting another school and you start chatting to the locals, you get far more insight than what you'll ever get off Google reviews and things like that. You get immersed in the world of their local stuff. And then you find that if you're there long enough, people want to come out and hang with you as well and go, hey, I'll take you here and I'll show you these places. So I think that's a really big benefit too.
Totally.
And that's irrelevant of whether it's overseas or in your own country or even, 4 hours up the road. It's still different places to your hometown. It's somewhere that you don't normally hang out.
100%. Just a few weekends ago when I went down to the Big Women's BJJ Collective Open Mat,
that's a mouthful, hey?
That was. But I got it out really well. I had to concentrate.
First go. Say it again.
No, once is enough.
Okay.
But afterwards, they were all like, "Oh, there's this great acai down the road."
Oh yeah,
remember I talked about it.
And the photo, it looked beautiful.
And I was like, "Okay, let's go." And we went down. Oh my goodness!
Did they all come with you?
Yeah, most of them did.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
well, we sort of all went down in little groups and stuff. But yeah, most of the crew, or a lot of them, maybe 50% were there getting their acai at the end of the training session. I would travel back there just for the acai. That was amazing.
I've never had it.
Oh, well, okay. You're coming with me next time.
Okay, all right.
My next point was it broadens your network, which we've already talked about. So just having relationships with other academies. One of the things that I love is when we get people come up from Sydney to the Central Coast for the weekend or for a week's holiday or something like that. And, they'll reach out and they'll come in and we'll get to train with them, and they might do 2 or 3 sessions. Usually you're not going to train as much. You might put in 2 sessions. 1 session probably. 2 sessions if you really enjoy your training and love the place, and maybe 3 if you're really hardcore, right? So I've got to get away from the family and the kids for an hour. I'm going to come in and train.
I'm going to go and train.
Yeah. So what we love, though, is we make that connection with that person. Now, that next thing that happens, they go back to their academy and they go, hey, I was just up at the Central Coast and I went and trained at Iconic, and oh my goodness, they're so welcoming and the roles were so fun and their gym's beautiful and,
cool vibe, cool people.
Vibes, cool music, this, and they rave about your gym. They go back and then tell all their friends who train, and the next thing we get is more people coming up going, hey, Joe Blow was here a few weeks ago. I would really love to come and train too. Now, that's fine. And we love having visitors, and it's really cool because we then get exposed in our home gym to other people's
training
styles and training as well. So it's kind of got this back and forth flow on effect. But the really cool part is when someone moves to the Central Coast from one of those gyms. They've already got a network in place. We've got this connection with that gym because people have visited. And so this person moves and they go, hey, we're actually moving to that part of the coast because you're where we want to train. How cool is that?
So tell me then, from a gym perspective, a gym owner perspective, do you do something that kind of, like on your socials, you have a schedule, right?
Yes.
So anyone can go to your website and know what classes are on and when they're on. Doesn't matter where they're coming from.
Really easy to find.
Do you put anything on your website that talks about drop-ins welcome or anything like that?
No, don't do that. Probably should.
Okay.
Probably should add that in.
There you go. There's a throw out for anyone who's looking. Like, how do you encourage people? And I know, again, Central Coast, it's a really high area for holiday makers and things like that too. But maybe there are some tips and tricks that as a gym owner people could do because of those points.
So sometimes we will do an open mat where we know we're going to have visitors.
Yep.
And when we know we're going to have visitors, we will put a post up saying, oh, now I'm hitting it. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, you have to get cranky at her too, producer Matt.
He's like, nope.
He's like, I'm just sitting here quietly.
Just leave me out of this. I'm not getting involved. So what was the question?
When you have an open mat and sometimes you'll put it out there.
So I'll put it out there on the socials going, big free open mat this weekend. Everyone welcome. Lots of visitors coming, you know, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't do it every week. We have what we call a Saturday open mat. Yep. That's mainly for our members, right? But when I know that I'm getting visitors or a group of people, like, you know, we've got a lot of black belts that have friends from Sydney gyms, for example, and sometimes they'll come up, we'll put it out there. Yep. So everyone local and everyone greater Sydney know that we're putting on an open mat that's free, that they can come and train at, and we'll usually like pack the gym out. Yeah, it's really cool.
So do you think there are things that you could do? Like, is there stuff that you'd maybe go away and change now that you're thinking about it as a gym owner to broaden that horizon from a drop-in perspective?
I think that we have a really good reputation out there in the community for being a welcoming gym. I don't think I need to go selling that more. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm also wary of like getting good training partners in for my guys and girls as well. My primary loyalty and focus is always my own students. When we have visitors come in, I give them a little talk, but I kind of, in part of my initial interactions, I let them know what our vibe is like and to please, you know, come in and respect that in a way. One of the things that Grant will always say, and I say Grant because he's usually the one that's there, but if he's not, I'll say it too, and I'll say, I introduce it this way. I'll go, so guys and girls, like this is our guest, you know, welcome to our new guest. You know, they've trained before, they're a purple belt or a black belt or whatever the case may be. You don't need to defend our honour. You know, he's here on holidays. He wants some fun roles. Yep. All you need to do is make sure he has a really great time, make sure he's safe because he doesn't want an injury while he's on holidays. Yep. And to you, you know, please look after my guys and girls. They're going to look after you. So I kind of have that kind of conversation, which lets the whole room know, slow your roll.
Yeah, that's right.
Calm your
There's no kill or be killed here.
There's no kill or be killed here. And so what ends up happening is everyone just lets their guard down just a little bit. Yep. Our visitor can let their guard down just a little bit because they know that they're not going to have all the blue belts come and try and rip their heads off or anything like that. Yep. And then they have a really great time. Then they go back to their friends and then we get, you know, messages and that's where it's all really cool.
And that's important. So if there's gyms out there that are looking to try and get drop-ins or they've stuff that they haven't thought about doing before and maybe they're going to start doing stuff, it's not just about getting the person through the front door, right? It's about how you're treating the person once they're through the front door.
Exactly.
And it's not just because of that person, because people talk and they'll go home. And they'll tell 10 other people that they had this really cool time. It's what we do, you know, like we've taken so many people to Foster to come and train with us at Mecca because they're amazing people.
They are.
Yeah.
Really friendly, really fun roles.
Yeah. And they look after us every time we go there, you know, and that's kids right through to adults. So
and guaranteed, if anyone now from, you know, that's gone on one of those trips with you, if they ever move to Foster, that would be where they go.
That's where they're going. That's exactly right.
Yep, you know, because they've been there before. So suddenly Mecca get a new student and they've got another like-minded person on the mat. And
makes a huge difference, right? And it's how the world works.
Yes.
It's like, just be kind.
Yep.
Be kind. Be welcoming. Be kind. And if you are going to travel, I don't know, just think about maybe taking your gi with you for a bit and having a look around and see where you're going and see if there's other schools there to go and hang with and have some fun.
Because one of the funnest parts about training when you're traveling is also the meeting of the new people, but also those fresh training partners. that help you discover little areas in your game that you didn't know maybe was lacking, or that you were really good at, for example, because you never get it on anyone in the home gym, or no one ever gets you in that, but suddenly it's exposing either your strengths or your weaknesses. And so it actually helps to identify areas of your game that you can work on and keep improving on. And fresh sparring partners are always a bonus.
And also from the left of center kind of focus, because for me, going in with new people is always a bit daunting. It's like, what if and it's not even because I'm frightened of them or worried about them or anything. It's like, what if I fuck this up royally and I hurt them? What the fuck? But Matt used to always say to me as we'd be traveling around and, the anxiety would start to lift around, he'd go, babe, we're going to walk in there. We don't have to walk back in there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for anyone who's nervous about this or, worried about, because I know when we were going down to Wollongong to Synergy, right?
Yep.
And we were taking some of the other ladies down with us. It was a really big thing going to somebody else's gym.
Oh, for some of them, it was the first time they've done it ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought it was only me who got up in your headspace about that, but I was watching them feeling like,
nervous.
Yay. No, I was really happy. It's like, oh, good, I'm not the only freak here. You're not freak ladies, I promise. But it was comforting to know that's not a TISM thing. That was just you get nervous going into new gyms, right? And, Matt used to always say to me, like, you go there once. You don't have to go back. We were so fortunate. Every gym we've ever walked into, we've gone back into and gone back into and gone back into. But anybody who's out there who's panicking going, oh, there's no way I could walk into a gym that I don't know. Yeah, you can. Because you don't have to go back if you don't like it.
That's right.
But you might miss out on something really special if you don't at least try.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think, my energy little bubble for people is please try.
I think too that when you're traveling, you're in you're in a more relaxed state, right?
Yeah.
When you're on holidays, you're relaxed, you chill, you're having great times. And if you go and visit a gym that is also going to give you a really fun time, it can help to revitalize any lacking motivation that you might have back at home.
Yeah.
Because you're out of your routine a little. I always say Grant and I come up with the best ideas when we're on holidays.
Yeah.
Because it allows that mind space to be a bit more creative, a bit freer, all your guards are down, that sort of thing. So in that way, it could be also really motivating for jiu-jitsu.
Especially if you're falling out of love with it and you go away and it's something new and it's something dynamic and you remember why.
Yeah.
You go there and you find that little spark or something, then keep feeding that spark. What else you got?
Well, the last thing I have, like, as being a huge bonus is cultural insights. What I love as a gym owner, when Grant and I go and visit other gyms, is to identify the little amazing things that gym does.
Oh, yeah.
And how could we maybe incorporate something like that back at home?
Yep.
So a lot of the things that we do now at Iconic have evolved over time from original thoughts that have come from others.
Yep.
Where we've gone, oh, that was a really great idea, really liked that part of, it could just be as simple as how they line up at the end of the class, or feedback that the coach was giving, or how they, deal with the shoe problem outside of the bathroom, or it could be anything, right? And we go, oh, that's such a great idea. Let's bring that back in. And then over time it evolves and it becomes your own unique sort of style or way of doing things. And I just think that's really cool. And so even as a student though, you could go away and see something really cool in another gym, bring it back to your coach and go, hey, this was a really interesting way that they did this.
Yeah.
Maybe a style of training or a particular training session and how they structured it, or whatever the case may be. That if you really dig it, bring it back and let your coach know about it.
Yeah.
If they're open, maybe they'll try it too.
Yeah, build it up from there. Yeah. And I think that's awesome. Like, not everybody has all the answers. So the ability to go out there and see and learn and bring that home and evolve it, that's important, right? Because you're not always going to be the absolute bee's knees, 100% the answer to everything. So being able to go to other different places and pull and learn and take different parts, that's what learning's all about.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's huge. But the same in reverse too. I think if people are going into gyms, if gym owners are going to other places and you're getting to meet and mingle with the other gym owners as well, you can start those conversations too and be asking questions and giving answers, and
let me tell
a whole new level.
That part of cultural change is happening already. So there's already connections being made at the gym owner level that has never happened before, that has just started this year.
Tell me.
So, like, we're in a couple of groups. We've been brought in as owners of academies and coaches and things like that, where we are now connecting with other local Sydney gyms, creating relationships, sharing ideas, even as simple as I have high ceiling fans. And I noticed there was a lot of, actually one of my students brought it to Grant's attention that they were dusty and I wasn't doing my job properly.
So HR got sacked.
Yeah, I know. No, the cleaning crew got sacked, which is me. And I'm HR and the receptionist and a coach
boss.
and all those things.
All the things.
But I found this really cool tool at Big W and I'm like, oh, this is making my life so easy, right? And so I posted it in the group and I said, hey guys, I just found this tool that helps me clean really high ceiling fans, and I've just done the whole thing, did a really good job. So many of the owners were like, oh my goodness, I've been waiting for something like that to come on board. It's so hard to get up there. And,
I'm sorry, I just got to stop for a second. I'll guarantee that so many of them did not say, oh my goodness. I reckon a whole heap of them went, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Maybe they did.
You're so cute. Sorry, keep going.
Maybe they did. Yeah. But that's the kind of information sharing. And then like, hey, I'm going to do this promotion this month. What do you guys think of the style of ad? Like there's a lot of that going on as well. And
that's pretty awesome.
Right?
Like that all of a sudden takes all the ego as well out of it. Everybody wants everybody else to be successful.
Yes.
That's important.
It really is.
That's a what do we call it? The pendulum shift?
Yes.
That's people, because I don't know, I just feel like the world got real nasty there for a minute. And hearing stories like that gives me hope for humanity.
Yep.
It just does.
This group that I'm in, it started out as a really like kind of niche of maybe 5 or 10 academies were involved. And it's grown so much. And now there's academies from all over the world.
But see, you know what happens there too, though? If you hear some of your members are going on holidays, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Rach, we're going away for 3 weeks or whatever. Oh, where are you going? Such and such. Do you know what? I know a great gym that's there. They're in our group, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you're referring your members to drop into other gyms
that we're already friends with, that we already have
so
connections
huge.
to. Absolutely.
It's
I know that
massive.
my members are going to be safe.
Yep.
Because that's one of my fears is that, I have a member go somewhere else and they're not treated well.
Yep.
And they have a horror experience.
Yep.
And, their head gets ripped off and they get injured or, whatever. And then they come back and they go, well, I can't train for 3 months because I've torn my ACL or something ridiculous.
Or they're
like
bitter
that.
about jiu-jitsu because, all of a sudden in their mindset now, Iconic's the only safe space they can ever go to.
And wouldn't that be sad?
That'd be awful.
Yeah. So
especially if they travel and they do holidays and things like that, you want them to have that freedom, right?
absolutely. So look, I've actually got some tips and tricks for people when you're going on holidays.
Yep.
How to approach gyms.
Okay.
Right? Because this is what I like as a gym owner.
Okay. I can add to that too
And
because
you
I've approached a lot.
I was going to say, you've got so much experience in this as well. But as a gym owner, this is what I like to see from people when they come in from visitors or when visitors come in. Well, first of all, I like to get a message.
Yep. I did that every gym I went to.
Yes.
Before we would reach out and say, we're going to be in your town during this time.
Yes.
We're a family of 5 from Australia. Is it okay if we come and train with you?
Yep.
And I would give them some background on us.
That's perfect. I get a lot of people that will message and go, hey, my name's Rachel. I'm on the coast for the weekend. Can I come and train?
Yep.
And I'll be like, yeah, you can. Is this a trial? Oh, no, I've trained before.
Yep.
But they're really reluctant to give you very much information.
Yeah.
Be free and open with your information. Yeah. If I was writing a message to someone I've never been to before, I would say, hi, my name's Rachel. I'm a black belt who trains out of Iconic Jiu-Jitsu on the Central Coast. You guys have been referred to me as an awesome gym. I'm in town for a week. I would really love to come and train with you.
Yep.
Then I would go on to say, is there any points of etiquette that I need to remember? Are you a white gi only gym or anything like that? Can you let me know?
Yeah.
Also, how much is a drop-in fee?
Yeah.
Because it's respectful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
I think that's probably about it. I feel like I'm forgetting something that I thought of earlier. But they're the main things. Tell them what rank you are.
Yep.
Tell them when to expect you.
Yep.
And ask them, what do I need to pay you?
Yep.
Take cash.
Yeah.
Cash is king.
Yep, absolutely.
Cash is really good for gym owners. You know, we're all struggling. Like, cash can just go straight in their pocket. Now, it's really important I get that message because twofold. Number one, I know exactly what I'm getting, right? Also, if I know, say it's me, right? So say I'm getting me in an inquiry. If I knew that a black belt female was coming to train at my academy, I would rally the girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say, hey, girls, we're getting this like black belt girl, come and train with us for a whole week. She's up here on holidays. Make sure you come along and train. Likewise, if I knew it was like a purple belt guy, I would put a message in the group going, hey, we got this awesome guy coming up from Sydney this week. He's a purple belt. Let's all get along to class tonight and show him a great time.
Do you know the flip side to that too, though? So from a family who aren't gym owners that were going around, when the gym owners would correspond back with me, that told me that they were open and friendly and, they were engaged in what they were doing. We had so many schools that we just didn't get a response from.
Right.
And I'm like, the minute you're not responding to me, the minute you're not corresponding with me, I'm not walking into your gym.
Yeah.
Because if you can't make contact with me back and acknowledge that, we're going to come and do this for a week and all the rest of it, that tells me there's a flaw in the way you communicate.
Yes.
And so for me, it was a red flag. I would reach out to 2 or 3 gyms in the area and we were looking at reviews and everything like that. So I was doing my homework, but there was quite a few that just didn't respond at all, didn't acknowledge. Whether or not it's gone to trash, junk, whatever, that's still on them to be cleaning that out and monitoring that and having a look at it too. So
look, I'll be honest, there has been times I've missed a message.
And someone's just walked in the door, hey.
Well, that has happened too. But it's usually been they've messaged that afternoon. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't get to your message, but thanks for coming. Or, it has gone to the spam folder or something like that. And when I do find it, I write back and I am so sorry. It went to spam. I missed it completely. And usually, it doesn't no harm, no foul in the end. But when you go to a new gym, remember to respect the gym rules. Now, the gym rules aren't always on a sheet of paper plastered on a wall, but read the room. You'll walk in, say hi to the coach, introduce yourself again. Oh, remember me? My name's Rachel and I messaged you and thank you so much for letting me come and train today. Where's the change room? Is there anything I need to remember? Usually, people are like, oh, no, it's cool. We're cool. Or, but you'll look around the room and you'll notice when students bow to step on the mat. We don't do that at our academy. But I always look around the room before I step on the mat. If I see other students bowing to step on the mat, I will bow to step on the mat. If they're standing around and not sitting down, I won't sit down on the mat. I will wait to see the others sit, before I don't never lead the way,
No, I think it's
will always
important.
look around and just follow the leader, And I think if you do that, you'll be really safe and you shouldn't make any faux pas.
No. And that's really, I think the other side of reaching out before you go too, if you're planning on training, is that they know you're coming. Every gym we went into, they embraced us when we walked in there because they were expecting us, but then they also introduced us to other people that we could connect to lead us through on what was going to happen and all the rest of it. So we weren't kind of like a shag on a rock waiting to see what was going on because they knew we were coming. I see you do it all the time. Somebody new comes in and you'll go, hey, Zach, or hey, Beck, or whoever, can you hang with or can you just connect with this person? So you're putting that buddy system in place for them so they're not feeling like they're the odd man out and everyone's staring at them like, who are you?
Exactly.
So that's the other side too. I think if you make yourself present when you first get there. If you haven't reached out first, or you reach out first, then a good owner will buddy you up with someone and make you feel comfortable and warm and welcome.
Yeah.
And then you can follow that system by following your buddy.
100%. Remember your hygiene.
Oh, please, people.
You're a guest in someone's home, right? So
Deodorant's a real thing.
if you've just been down at the beach all day and you're sandy and you know, you haven't showered to wash that sea salt off you and it's just simple stuff like that. I think
Your sweat's way more saltier.
yeah, just remember your hygiene. Like it's really easy when you're on holidays to just get in holiday mode, but
Still clean your gi.
have your
Still
shower.
wash your gi.
Yeah, definitely please wash your gi. I can't say I've had any horror stories like that, but I can just imagine that it could be.
Wear
an issue.
underpants under your shorts. It's a thing. Wear undies under your shorts.
You know, I couldn't imagine be anything worse. It'd be like training without a bra. Like,
Producer Matt's over there shaking his head.
like just things would be just
Swinging in the breeze.
anyway.
We've moved on to big white balls.
Oh, good. If they're white, there's a problem. Go see your doctor. Be on time or be early at least.
Oh yeah,
you know.
absolutely. That was a huge thing for us. And I'm I'm a bit OCD in that regard. Like I want to be everywhere 15 minutes early, and Matt is cool with just rocking up most places 15 minutes late.
Well, I have to say I'm a little bit I get stressed about let's be 10 minutes early, whereas I feel like Grant will be a little bit more like, oh, it's cool, like we'll be on time. He won't be late, but he'll get us there on time. We're having a shocker today.
I love
Kaz.
the fact that it's you a lot more than it is me.
I've done it twice. I'm keeping count now.
Sit on your hands.
But yeah, make sure that you get there with a few minutes to spare.
I do have to say, and I'm dobbing myself in here for a second, because I'll say that I get really anxious and I need to be early, whereas Matt's real casual and just, babe, it's okay, for the love of God.
It's all going to work out.
Yeah. And he usually turns up on time.
Yeah.
I'll always say he's 10 minutes late.
Yeah. 'Cause 10
shaking his
minutes
head.
on time is 10 minutes
10 minutes late to me, yeah.
Poor Matt.
So I'll dob myself in.
And he gets a lot of grief over there. He does such a good job. And
I do love him. For anyone
know
who's
you
questioning, I do
do.
love him.
Look, my last point would be really thankful.
Yep.
At the end of your session, go up to the coach, thank them, shake their hand. I can't say this for everyone. At Iconic, if you're a visitor and you've been really good, like a good visitor, respectful, you've done the right things, it's very rare that I will charge you.
Right, yep.
Very rare that I will charge.
Yep.
Sometimes I've worked out a deal because someone's coming and going, I want to train unlimited the whole week. And I'll go, well, I'll just charge you what I charge my members. I don't charge any more or anything like that.
Yep.
But usually if someone's come in and they've had a great time, they're like, oh, would you mind if I come back on Wednesday or something?
Yep.
They're like, yeah, please come back. I won't charge because we love having visitors and, but buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You
Yep,
know,
absolutely.
buy a T-shirt, or at
Take
the
it
very
away.
least, when you go, put a 5-star Google
Yeah,
review on.
absolutely.
That if you
Give back.
Yeah, give back. But
Yep.
a T-shirt. When we go anywhere, visit other academies on holiday and stuff, we'll buy a T-shirt because it's a way of it's cool. We've got a cool jiu-jitsu T-shirt now, and also we've put some money into their pocket. It might not be a mat fee or anything like that, but now we're wearing their logo and their brand around.
That's it.
And we've put a little bit of cash in their pocket.
Absolutely. No, I think all of them are really, really important. And I think they're important from both the person travelling and also from the schools receiving the travellers too. There's two sides to this. It's not just about if you're going to build a holiday or you're going to book a holiday, go find somewhere to travel or go find somewhere to train, but also understand what that means to the school that you're going to as well. And so all of those points can be taken from both perspectives, right?
Yes.
From the school and also the community within the school, but also the people attending the school as well. Yeah. And be cool. Just be cool. Be a cool person when you walk in.
Yeah. I read something the other day and it was talking about hard roles versus hard rolls, harder rolls. And someone's comment was, and shout out to this person, it was like on a over 40s BJJ page thing or something like that. His comment was, when my coach said to the class, roll like you want to be everyone's favorite training partner, it changed everything for me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what a cool perspective.
Yep.
Roll like you want to be everyone's favorite training partner. When you go on holidays, that's how you should roll.
Yep.
Because number one, if you go in and try and rip their
Everybody's
heads off,
Yep.
you can guarantee in between rolls that will spread like wildfire.
We saw that once. I can't remember where we were, but we saw that happen.
I think it's happened, it could have happened at our gym too at some point, where someone's come in and just rolled like an absolute knob.
Right.
And
like a fucktard.
Everybody has gone, just like, don't play.
Yep.
Just be careful. Watch this, watch that. And then all of a sudden you get your sort of like everyone else comes in and they're like, okay, well, if we're going to roll, I've got to really protect myself and I've got to match your intensity.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like, it's not such a fun time.
Yeah.
You know?
If that's spreading really quickly too, I wonder how quickly it's spreading to the bigger belts, the people that are probably going to a more protective mode and they're like, right, my turn.
Yeah.
Let me at him.
If you're a smaller white belt, stay away.
Yeah.
You know, that and I'll go get him and you'll find your mat enforcers will step up.
Yeah, yep.
Now we don't really have mat enforcers at Iconic because we don't need to. Everyone's really well behaved and trains really well with each other, and I can't even think of a single person I would need to mat enforce at the moment. But sometimes when a visitor comes in, you'll get your big black belts go, okay, he's mine.
But you've also got enough people in there too that even at brown belt, purple belt, that would step up and protect no matter what.
Absolutely.
So I keep seeing Scarlett in my head with Willow and that kid that day. It's like, my turn. Let me at him.
Yeah. So, but look, we haven't had that very often.
Yep.
I can only think of maybe one occasion ever that's happened.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think most people these days, they want to just come in and have a great session and find a good culture with great vibes. And
I don't know where I don't know where I was. I don't know if it was at a seminar somewhere or I honestly can't remember, but I just remember the whispers. And it just spreading so quickly that there was a fucktard in the crowd, and that person was almost iced out.
Right.
Like, it was bizarre. You remember? Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But, fucktards be warned.
Yep.
You will get iced out.
Anyway, I think one last really good tip. If you are going on, and we sort of touched on it, but if you are going on holiday or you are wanting to go and visit some other local open mats and things like that, talk to your coach.
Yep.
Let them know, hey, such and such has got an open mat this weekend. Do you think it's a good idea? Or, I'm not saying ask for permission.
No.
I'm saying just drop it to your coach.
Yep.
Now, there's two reasons for that. Number one, if it's a big open mat, there's going to be photos, and I would rather as a coach know already that you're going to be there, especially if it's like another local gym. I would rather know that you're already going to be there, and not be surprised by that and go, oh, okay, are they just there for the day, or are they checking things out, or what's going on? But also, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that the students don't always know about, especially with other local gyms in your area. Now, you might have a really great relationship with the other local gyms. We do with some of them, and slightly less maybe with a couple of others. It's no fault of anyone's.
Normal,
it's
right?
just
That's
normal, right?
Human behaviour.
Exactly.
Can't be friends with everyone.
And I don't know that I would, be entirely sure of my students' safety.
Yep.
Or I'd be like, well, go over there, but just be really careful.
There's two sides to that, and there's respect on both sides. And I understand yours is care and concern, and I get that 100%. But there's also, I think there's a respect value in that as well, in that you and Grant would never stop anybody from going and training at another gym. In fact, you would encourage it because it gives different perspective and it gives but to your point, you know a lot more than what most of the members would know. So if somebody came to you and said, you know your member, you know their level, you know their capabilities, you know what they're good at, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, right? Because you're training these people, you're watching them, you're learning about them every day.
Yep.
So if they came to you and said, I'm going to gym X, and I'm not saying there is on the Central Coast, so nobody come after me, but just say there was an absolute fucked hard gym on the Central Coast that was just bad, horrible, and you knew that person was going to get injured,
Yeah.
you could then say, look, I'm not telling you not to, but I'm saying here's why I'm concerned for you.
Yeah.
And you would do that because of your concern for your members.
That's right.
The same in reverse, in that members need to have that kind of level of respect for their coaches too, to say, hey, I'm here. This is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? Because you do know my level. You do know what I'm like at jiu-jitsu. You do know what my weaknesses are. You do know what my strengths are. And even if I'm still going to go irrelevant, you can then say, okay, well, Kaz, you know, if you're determined and you're going to do it, okay, but be mindful of this, be mindful of that. Don't do this, don't do that. Try this.
Yeah.
That's what will work there.
Yeah.
So if somebody's just, if they're not going to their coaches and saying, I'm thinking about doing this or this is why I'm doing that, I don't know. I see that as almost playing a game. And a lot of people will do it without thinking.
Yes.
And they will just do it and not think. And I don't think there's always malicious intent behind it.
Exactly.
But I also think that sometimes maybe there's just, you know, if you're not saying it, why aren't you saying it? Maybe. I don't know. Humans are funny. I don't understand them. But yeah, I think there's that two sides to the coin. Just show some respect.
I think that if you are going on holidays and your coach has an issue with you training anywhere else ever,
you're in the wrong gym. Sorry.
I
just think you're in the wrong gym.
I think that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I do.
Well and truly.
I really do.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't you want your students to branch out and try other things? And, you know, you get into routines, right?
Yeah.
You get into routine with your members. I don't care if it's 30 members or 3,000 members. You pick your favorites, and as humans, we are by habit. We are creatures of habit. So every time we're going into our training, we are repetitiously training with the same people because we build our favorites and we do that. It's rare that we will push ourselves outside of that boundary unless our coaches are pulling us off the bleachers and going, no, you will go and train with that person. Yes, I'm speaking from experience. But we become creatures of habit. So going and experiencing something new not only exhilarates and gives something to learn, but it also shows your internal, it shows you, it's a reflection on you on things that you might not realize you need to work on because you're embedded in such a routine. Why wouldn't a coach want that for a member?
Absolutely.
So that begs belief. I wouldn't understand that.
I'm directly quoting Grant now. The other day at, I think it was Open Mat, he was saying, talking about competition, and he said that, you know, competition is just another level to your training. Like, you know, Mondays and Thursday nights at Iconic, it's the class and the friendly roles, right? So that's one level of training. The next level of training would be the comp classes that we run, right? So it's a step up.
Mm-hmm.
The next level of training might be going to an open mat at a nearby gym, right? That's your next stepping out of your comfort zone. Then your next level above that is your competition. And then the next level above that would be like, you know, going to Worlds or some big competition and doing that.
Do you know that I don't get it? I will go to any open mat anywhere, anytime, no problems whatsoever. I'll walk into anybody else's gym and I'll roll with people and train with people. I have been a competitor in so many other sports my whole life, no problems whatsoever. The thought of going into a BJJ competition scares the living shit out of me. And I don't know why.
Really?
I've got nothing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I've been into so many different open mats. I've been into so many different gyms.
So you've never competed?
I've never competed in jits. I've come very close, and then I've backed away a lot.
Because you come from a competition-heavy school.
I do, very much so.
And we're, you know, I wouldn't call us a competition school, but we go well in competitions. So it's like, you know, but
all three of the kids compete. Matt competed a bunch of times. I've come real close and then I've backed away. And I don't know. There's just this mental block that goes, I want to. Nope. I want to. Nope.
Well,
one day, mind you, I made a deal with Connor on Saturday night, so it might bite me on the ass.
Yes,
I
my
might
son
have to.
Connor, who used to compete quite a lot, hasn't competed for a while because he does water polo and he gets enough competition stuff through that.
Yep.
But yeah, you made a pact with him that you'd both compete one day.
Well, I said to him, when are you going to compete next? And his response was, when you do. And I went, all right. And I shook his hand. Like, duh, fuck.
Well,
I know, 2026, 2025 might be the year for it. Look out, Connor.
let's get you back to training first.
Yeah. Let's
get you through those other levels first.
Let's at least roll. I don't know.
Hey, how was this morning for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really good. And I loved, like, I did one of the drills and then I knew that was enough for me. Like, I'm learning now when to step back a bit too.
Yep.
And then going down, I loved when you were showing me the leg things and we were doing, sorry. We were doing the leg pommels as well. And the fact that I trained this morning as well with Willow and I got to loosen everything up.
Right.
I wasn't as sore walking away from the mats this morning as I was last week.
Yeah.
So
you've had also another week of recovery.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're in that stage at the moment where every week is like a leap and a bound.
It is. It's huge. And it's also the real critical point too. So I've got to be careful because the surgeon said that week 8 to week 12 is the point where I'm either going to go really well or I'm going to really screw myself royally.
And you're in week 10?
I'm coming into week 10 this week, yeah.
Gotcha.
So today's Wednesday. So today is the start of week 10 for me.
Yeah.
And so this is like I've got 3 weeks and then I get through the clear of it. And I'm probably, because I've done everything faster anyway.
Yep.
Technically, I might even be at week 11 or week 12 just based on the fact that I've done everything faster, but I'm not allowed to.
No.
Like we're sticking to that timeline.
Stick to the game plan.
That's it,
yes.
yeah. So, with Matt's surgery and my surgery, we've both kind of done the commitment to each other to go January. We're going to give ourselves all of December, even though I'm in the clear in 3 weeks.
Yep.
We're just going to give ourselves December.
You the buffer.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
right. And then shout out to Zach, my friend, who said I'm his favourite podcaster. He said when we roll, he's going to put those big, thick mats in your gym. You know, the big ones off on
the crash mats.
The crash mats. So him and Beck are going to put them down on the ground for me, and that's what I'm apparently going to roll in when I come back.
I don't know that's a great idea. I reckon that would cause no.
Yeah, no, not allowed the soft landing.
I was thinking like putting them around you in a square, so you're like in a ditch
in a bubble.
Yeah, so no one can roll into you. That might be a go.
Yeah, that might be a go. That's all right. So no, it's good. I mean, look, it's always. I almost skip back to the car. It's that. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting healthy again.
Yep.
It was a big thing. Like I put on 10 kilos and that really hurt because I had worked so hard to get so much of my weight off for it to come back like
just
that.
Like that.
That hurts, and it hurts mentally and it hurts physically and it's tiring. But each time I come out of jiu-jitsu, I'm doing a little bit more each time, right?
I did notice that today. Yeah.
It's good.
And when we had our little ping pong roll, you just felt stronger to me today.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a glimpse of the old Kaz coming back.
Uh-oh.
Not going to be able to play.
Do you know what, though? Like, I'm thinking about, because my go-to was always cool, side control, grab it, dung. And I'm really trying not to go there. I'm trying to put myself in different areas as well.
You've got to go to side control.
Yeah.
Most cases.
Yeah, I know. But side control and then, shoulder in and off I go and squeeze in tight. I'm trying not to hold on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just keep moving.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because that's what you used to say to me all the time, like, let go.
Yeah. So use it, but use it to move forward.
Yeah.
Not
just stalemate.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I do want to touch on the bunny hop.
Okay.
So the one thing you said to me when I said to you I wanted to talk about holiday jits and traveling around and all the rest of it, and you mentioned gym hopping.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm like, I don't get what that is. So you had to explain it to me.
Yeah. So I think so it's probably a different topic for a different day. But we talk because it was something that you said and I misunderstood that's what I thought we were going to talk about today.
Okay.
And it was that idea of, people will gym hop.
Yeah.
So they'll start off at one gym and then 6 months down the track they'll switch gyms, or a year or two down the track they'll switch gyms if they feel like their promotions aren't coming along quick enough. And, there's probably people out there that have had a different belt from a different coach and a different gym their whole journey. Those sorts of things start to raise a little sort of red flag to me. I'm like, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I don't even know where to start with that, except that I've seen where it can sort of backfire. I've seen where, a student has gone to different gyms and trained at different places too often that their progression stalls.
Right.
They just get kind of stuck in the mud because they've got different coaches with different coaching styles and they're not getting continuity in their flow. They're
trying to put A and D together and it's not working.
It's not working. It's not great for them. They carry a bit of a weird vibe because they haven't settled into any particular culture.
Yeah.
They're sort of, that sort of thing. You can actually earn a little bit of a reputation. Yep. You get known about, because you've gone to so many gyms and everyone has rolled with you.
And in areas, jiu-jitsu is small.
That's right.
When you're talking geographical clusters, jiu-jitsu is a small community.
Hearing people go, oh, that guy's now training over there. Weren't they with us like 6 months ago? And you're like, yeah, and there were 2 other gyms before that. So, it's just that it's that kind of, I don't want to send it out like it's that old school territorial thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to, that's not for this episode, but I do want to raise it only from the point of view that I want to hear from people out there I keep going to call it bunny hopping, but is gym hopping, is this a hot topic? Is this something that you guys want us to do a bit of research on and bring it up as an episode?
Yep.
Should we address gym hopping as a thing?
Yeah.
Let us know. We'd really love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Owners and members too, all walks of life. Let us know.
That's a great idea. What's your hope this week, Kaz?
Oh, look, honestly, my hope is first and foremost that people get holidays.
You deserve it.
Absolutely.
Just
look,
book it
just
and go.
do it. And we found too, probably and only in the last, I don't know, maybe 18 months, 2 years, that even 3 days away is a break.
Absolutely.
Life's hard right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an overseas holiday. It doesn't have to be, you can go 3 hours up the road and go on camp. Mm-hmm. Take your gi because there'll be a school. Mm-hmm. So my hope is that people listening aren't getting run down by the mundane of life. And seize the opportunity. It doesn't have to be overseas. It doesn't have to be a different state. It can just be 4 hours up the road. But take some time for you. Take some time for your family. Just take some time to smell the roses and look how far you've come.
Yep. And
if you get the added bonus of going to a new school while you're there and having a play and getting to meet some people, my hope is that you take advantage of it.
Yep.
Do it because it's
Absolutely.
so worth it.
So worth it.
What's your hope?
I love when we have repeat visitors.
Yeah.
I love it when we have repeat visitors. We're repeat visitors to other academies.
Yep.
And those relationships that you form over the years with the same people that keep coming back to the Central Coast for their holiday and come and train with you once or twice a year, or even just once a year, and you go, weren't you here last year? And they're like, yeah, we love coming here to visit. That's so cool. And you start to actually get to know these people and then you see their progression because it's a huge jump year to year. Oh, wow, you got your purple belt this year. I have photos of myself every time that we go to full medal up in Burleigh Heads.
Yep, we've got the same every time we go to Foster.
And I've got a photo for every belt I was at. I first started going in there to visit when I was a white belt.
Yep.
I've got my white belt photo, my blue belt photo, because we usually go up once a year or once every 2 years. So I've got my white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt photos.
Yep.
up there at full metal.
I'm going to have a look now for Mecca and see if I've got the same too. I think that's a cool idea.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And just the relationships that you form and those connections you make. And then, you know, things happen like seminars, and it's amazing the connections you can make there because they'll bring someone really cool in and flick you a message. Hey, you know, we're getting this guy in for a seminar.
Yep.
Do you guys want to come up and visit and come and do this seminar? It's just for members only, but we're letting you know.
Your family, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
You become part of that extended family. So my hope is that you get to experience that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's worth it. And look at us. We light up like Christmas trees talking about it. So we can't be wrong.
No, absolutely. Never wrong.
Never wrong. Never wrong.
Tell my husband that.
Now, we've got some stuff coming up too.
We do.
We do. We have some very exciting stuff. We've got a doctor coming to join us not too soon.
We do. Actually, this is really exciting. So Dr. Phil is coming.
The Australian version, not the American version.
That's right. Dang, you just... I was going to leave that as a surprise.
I think ours is better, just quietly.
Oh, ours is much better. We're going to get him on the on an episode. And something that he brought up as an idea is, why don't you throw us some questions?
Yep.
So give us, get into our...
Now, this guy is a medical doctor.
Yes.
He works as the head of an emergency department.
That's right.
So he is across all aspects of injury. He would see it all.
Absolutely.
So when we're saying throw the questions out, like this is legit, this guy's legit from a medical background. Throw your questions out that you've never been able to ask your doctor.
The best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
we'll put it forward and get it up in an episode.
Absolutely. Send it through. We might even put up a special post or something like that. But, you know, you may want to ask anonymously.
Yeah, which is fine too.
So send it through our, you know, private DMs and we won't out you.
We promise.
So we got that coming up. What else do we have coming up?
We've got the website getting released for the Gee Spot.
Yeah,
so that's
really
thegeespot.com.au. All episodes are listed on the Gee Spot website.
Yep.
You can communicate with us on the website as well. And I do have a sneaky little thing that's coming through soon. And I've put her on notice, so she's got until a particular time in December. We have a couple of T-shirts being made with the Gee Spot for a giveaway.
Ooh, that's exciting. Can't wait.
So that'll be coming soon, and we'll tell you more about it when that hits.
Sounds exciting.
It's cool.
All right.
Have a great week.
Have a great week. See you next week, Kaz.
See you next week, honey. Bye.
This podcast is a My Broken Soldier production.
And brought to you by Iconic Jiu-Jitsu.